All right, we're back, and it's a really happy day, and I'm glad I'm here, and I'm glad you're here. My base of operations was in Chongqing, and I went out from there. My sister wanted to see the country, so we went on an epic trip. But when I got in there, it was far different than anything I'd expected. I had my preconceived ideas. I thought about how, I'm from flyover country in a really small town, and then going there's 32 million people. Of course, I've never heard of the city before. And of course, it's the biggest, largest area city on the planet. It's astronomical. So it's funny to think that here in America we have so much pride to think that we have such a big deal, this, that, and the other. We're very productive people. We're the kind of people that work really hard. Okay, and that keeps the value of the dollar up, but then we also think like, whoa, this is the center of our universe, right where we are. And when you think about, China, I mean, this is a big country. And it has really huge cities, of the likes of which we in America have not even touched. And so we end up, I'm going there, and there's this huge airport system. It is completely sci-fi, completely modernized. There's everything nice about it, and I thought, yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be. They have a subway route going right to the airport, and then that leads right into the city. So getting a card, that really helped me out. And it's not a burden or anything. Probably $20 is all you need for a week of traveling around Chongqing, and that subway system will take you everywhere you need to go. Just getting upstairs is something you have to think. Okay, you're gonna get off the subway. You're gonna go up the stairs, walk a few blocks, and then you'll be where you're at. But you have to think like that you're gonna do a little bit of walking. But I mean, this is a huge city that you can just fly across the city with the metro system. They've got it really designed out pretty well. It's kind of fun because they have the metro going through buildings and across the rivers and across the bridges and so it's like, wow, I just went through a building in the metro system. This is kind of far out, And the architecture is just absolutely phenomenal. It just went high into the sky. There were whole districts where you had skyscrapers that were as big as anything I've ever seen anywhere, and they're making the city an art form. It's just incredible to me that when you have a government with so much power, it can control the architecture, like as if you were in a helicopter looking down over the city and how you would appreciate your city. Well, the absolute control can work to society's favor, or it can work to their utter destruction. Of course, we all know this. And at the moment, the Chinese government wants to grow, and it is growing phenomenally. If you don't have a clue about it, you're just going to be left in the dust. It's a big government. They can just decide they're going to light up the skyscrapers with whatever. They have mountains and leaves and birds flying all across the skyscrapers at nighttime. It is just a phenomenal city. I've heard that Chongqing is the city of lights, and I definitely believe this, or bridges, or lit up bridges. It has phenomenal bridges. They're just gorgeous. They've made the bridges as art forms also, and they have these rivers coming together that makes up the city. Makes it a very humid city. You got to expect crazy humidity there. It's like you are not just 100% humidity, but super saturated humidity coming off the rivers into your face kind of humidity. Being in the flyover country, this is, I like the little bit less humid air. Crisp mountain clean smelling type kind of air. You know, it is very smoggy, very misty. It is very humid there. Some people wear masks there because of the pollution. You know, you can do it or not. So it's interesting. Just in the subway, you see people with masks, but it's just some people choose that. And you know, they say that the lung disease is actually a pretty big problem with the pollution there. I thought, okay, if you have prolonged exposure here, you know, that would definitely be the case. But I thought being there for, you know, just a couple weeks, it's not too big of a deal. It's very manageable. It's interesting to go to the skyscrapers there, going up to the flats where I stayed, and you would get out into the city and there'd be the attack of the grandmas. You know, it's like they would spontaneously go out into the streets. You have all these huge skyscrapers, and so the people just spill out, and anybody that wants to do something, they just spontaneously decide to do something. Somebody puts up a boom box, and then you just see 100 ladies collect that just start doing these dances, and just nobody really is worried about, you know, this super synchronization or anything. They're just out there having fun. They're just out there living life, and knowing that in their world they can't do anything about the government. So they're just part of the machine of this huge government. And so they're like, well, okay, I'm just going to spontaneously dance, or I'm going to spontaneously go out and exercise in the park, or I'm going to go spontaneously, you know, just practice my whip in the park. So they just, it's just like that. You can expect that with just like a large population of people. I did see a Walmart there, and that was kind of fun. I was always like, wait, you know, do they have Walmart over in China? Now it looks a little bit ghetto-ish, but you know, it does have what you need. And interestingly enough, since they have all the skyscrapers like all lined up in a circle, they have a crane right in the middle that's just building all these skyscrapers. The building is going on phenomenal. If you know, you blink and there's another skyscraper up there. It is amazing what they are doing. They had a lot of money transferred to them. They said, what should we do with this? We're going to build infrastructure. And they, you know, that ended up giving them a lot of jobs. And so then a lot of the country people moved to the city, and they're building all this stuff in massive proportions. They said that they've laid down more concrete in the last 20 years than the United States has ever laid down in its whole existence. And so you just think of that. I can absolutely believe that from what I have seen over there. It is phenomenal what you see. You just have skyscraper layers upon skyscrapers, upon metro systems, upon bus systems, upon transportation roads that are on top of roads swirling around each other. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is much more of a modern city than, say, like Beijing or you know, Shanghai. Very, very modern, but you see the new and the old. Beijing, you see the new and the old. Chongqing, you see a whole lot of the new and not as much of the old. But there's still a little bit, you know, just stuff from previous dynasties. So you can still see a little bit of that classic architecture, but it's mainly like a full-fledged, full-on modern super city. They have mega projects, super fast trains. I mean, they're just, they've decided they want to put everybody in the dust. And with a population of 1.3 billion, of course, they can do that because they have enough workers to pull off what they want. Really big standard of living. I think they have one of the best standard of livings in China's existence. You know, people are very optimistic. I felt of great optimism when I was over there. So did go, you know, you see a little bit of the food, a little food difference. I mean, you order a supreme pizza from KFC or something, then or Pizza Hut or something, and you end up with octopus on your pizza. So it's just kind of funny. You look at these little purple arms, purple and white arms with little suction cups on them. And say, what's that on my pizza? It's kind of funny. It's just kind of fun. That's one of the ways that I'd be a foodie and explore just how has another culture dealt with the food problem. Well, in China they say we eat everything, so they put everything on everything. And you go down the street, and they sell everything. You saw a chicken, they say, here we're selling a chicken, but the chicken is dead and its head is hanging over. And you're like, there's a chicken with its dead, and its head hanging. In America, they cut the head off, so people don't want to see the actual eyeball. It's just, oh, this is a real animal. They like to think that it's not really a real animal. So I think that's pretty funny. In China, it's KFC bigger than McDonald's there, and it's funny they just run out of stuff or whatever. You just in there say, oh, we ran out of chicken now. Oh, you ran out of chicken in your KFC. Yeah, it happens. But we have biscuits, so maybe you can order some biscuits. It's kind of funny how it is that way. They order like thimble mashed potatoes. I ordered mashed potatoes. That's my favorite thing in KFC. And then KFC China, they have this little, this mashed potato thing, and a little squirt of gravy that came out of a thimble squirter or something. That's just absolutely funny. So there was that. The hot pot was really hot over there, and the food was phenomenal and spicy. But I also did get sick from that. It was like just knocked me out for a day for sure. So you never know when you're going to get Chinese food. They have a boiling cauldron, spiced up, and then you put your own spices, and take all this food and swirl it around into your garlic and onions and vinegar sauces, and it's just phenomenal for that. But what kind of crazy bacteria? You don't know. There isn't some kind of FDA that's just overriding all the food. They're just getting whatever that somebody pulled in, and so it was kind of fun. You put these skewers in the cauldron that's sitting in front of you, and then you pull the thing out when you've decided it's got adequate, been cooked as long to your liking, and then you swirl it around and use your chopsticks. I'm never good at the chopsticks. It's just not my thing. They say you have to use your chopsticks. No. That's just really not going to happen. I've tried this before. Just throw this stuff on, throw food on myself or something. I'm using a fork. Go over there with a fork. It really helps. Just have a little spork, spoon, knife. It's all one thing, and travel with that. It really comes in handy sometimes. Last day I was there. I went to the Space Science Museum, and it's right by one of their very popular bridges. What they're doing for the people, you have so many people in a place, you have to do something with them. They have, and in the Space Science Museum last day, I was just amazed with all the activities they have for the kids. I mean, they're not leaving their kids behind or anything. They're saying, hey, there are mathematical ways for us to make sense of engineering problems and things that we want to overcome. So they're inspiring a whole generation of children that I think will be just phenomenal in the future. And they're going through college and overcoming problems because they had sonic, little kids controlling sonic waves which would manipulate small little balls inside a tube, and that would just, the kids are just fascinated with this stuff. Or hydraulic machinery where they turn a pump and it pushes a ball up and the ball kind of rolls around, and the little kids are playing with the knobs so these things will run around. Science stuff for astronomy and for space exploration. It has had a lot of this stuff, and China they're doing a lot of good things for their people. They're reclaiming the desert, getting the instead of having desertification where the desert sand is creeping in and everything's dying. They're pushing back against that by replanting things that can grow in very arid conditions and then trying to supply water, so it's pushing the desert back. I mean, China is doing some phenomenal things with their country. So even though we have this, it's kind of like, okay, well, I think we respect you, I think you respect us, kind of a relationship. At the same time, I think they're doing a lot of good things for their people.